Before we get started, a quick reminder. Unlocked is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult a qualified healthcare provider for any health concerns. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, and give a thumbs up, and share across all platforms. Unlocked. Mental performance, physical results. Welcome to another episode of Unlocked Mental Performance, Physical Results. The last two episodes focused on kind of a description and a breakdown of the two really common sides of the argument of play for fun versus winning at all costs. And it's important for your own mental health to understand those two arguments, to really listen and dive into those and figure out kind of where you fit. Because part of being mentally strong is overcoming the bad fit. But part of being mentally strong is also understanding the right fit and the good fit and understanding kind of where you are and everything, because there's a big difference of what's fun for me versus what's fun for other people. So where I might really like just going out and having some recreational time, slow pitch softball, a couple of brews, hanging out with my boys, for another player, that might be tedious because what they want to do is get in reps. What they want to do is feel gains. What they want to do doesn't sound like fun to some, but is fun for them. If what they want to do is maximize their physique, maximize their skill set, maximize their potential, and they find fun in that grind, then who am I to judge that and say, he's just ring chasing? No, that's not what we're going to talk about here today. What we're going to tell you is that the issue is, if when you're talking about the race for fun versus winning, the issue is that neither one is right. Oh boy. Then why did you just waste an hour and 20 minutes or whatever it turned out to be talking about play for fun versus winning at all costs? Well, we have that debate all the time. And I hear all the time, oh, well, that coach is just coaching for fun. He's not making his players any better. Such a waste of time. And I also hear, that guy's not making anybody better. All he wants to do is win. Yeah, I hear it all the time. And the problem is, those stereotypes exist for a reason. They're an semi-accurate representation of the world we live in. We witness this far too often with coaches. And like everything, there's more nuance than just he's a win-at-all-cost coach or he's a let's just play for fun coach. There's more nuance to what is fair versus what is equal. But in the grand scheme of things, as an athlete, you need to be able to identify what is winning for you, because the plastic ring isn't winning for everybody. For some people, the win is going to be a skill that got better, a talent that got better, a metric that is measurable, like miles per hour or weight lifted or a timed race. It may be something as far as how many first serves did you get in versus how many times did you have to go to the second serve. So for each athlete, what defines winning might be a little bit different. And for every coach, what defines winning might be a little bit different. So not only is the definition of fun flexible, so is the definition of victory. But we forget that in this argument when we break it down and we make it simple and we say, well, they're either playing for fun or they're playing to win. Because the truth is, ultimately, balance is the key when you're talking about those two things. You have to have a flexible mindset. That's essential. And you have to be able to evolve both to the player's needs and as the team evolves to the team's needs. And if you're in a program, you need to evolve to the program's needs. If you're sitting here trying to run a 5-out offense that is very guard dependent, revolves around a lot of ball movement, a lot of ball handling, a lot of 3-point shooting, and 3 of your best players are natural bigs, you're going to have to evaluate and be flexible. And maybe your senior class is all guard heavy, great guards, but in 8th grade, your best players are bigs. Well, those players, depending on where they are physical maturation wise, may be as big as they're going to get. They're not going to be bigs by the time they get to you. Or maybe they're going to be 7-footers. I can't tell you that. Heck, you are only guessing anyway. But you need to look at your organization top to bottom and be flexible with where you're focused on fun, where you're focused on winning, and what style of practice you're running for those individual teams. So, which one's right? Neither. Neither's right. Because they both have consequences, not only to the team, not only to the player, but to the sport itself. Because if you're burning players out, if they're losing a passion because you're so focused on fun or you're so focused on winning that you're costing players their ability to be lifelong fans of the sport, you're not only hurting that player's lifelong love of the sport, you're hurting that sport's lifeblood, which is players loving it. And you're also hurting your own long-term success when you only think about tomorrow. And I know what you're saying, but if I win today, tomorrow's easier. And if you win today at the cost of your program, tomorrow might not come. So Coach Eric, what are you saying I should do? Well, in addition to finding a little personal balance, you as a player or you as a coach or you as a parent need to be self-aware enough to evaluate how you're evolving as a player, what your personal goals are as a team, etc. And you need to put yourself in positions to be successful. So I'm going to offer you a third option here. Option number 3 is development first. It's the dark horse candidate, the third party. And it's becoming an increasingly popular option. And I talk about development all the time because it's so near and dear to my heart. But that's because the development first approach prioritizes player growth while still incorporating fun, still striving to win, but doing so in a growth environment. This isn't hard, folks. Actually, it's very hard. It's very hard. It's hard because you get so locked in on what you're passionate about. And if what you're passionate about is your kids having fun, it's really, really hard to sit Johnny, who isn't good enough, so you can win today. It's really hard. And I had this conversation with a really well-respected coach. And he's like, you can never sit Johnny on tournament on Sunday. Winning that game doesn't mean more than giving Johnny his playtime. In a vacuum, I agree with that. Because Johnny should play. But should Johnny play the same number of innings as the player that works harder or is more skilled? And should you be trying to get the extra game? So here's how this works. If you're telling me little Johnny should play 3 to 4 innings every single game, or even 5 innings every other game, however you want to split your innings, in order for it to be equal and fair, and you're in a tight spot on a Sunday, tournament bracket, elimination day, you have the choice of giving Johnny 6 innings spread out over 2 games or 5 innings in 1 game. Which is better for Johnny? You only get the second game if you win game 1. You only get game 3 if you win game 2. So Johnny has potential at 2 to 3 innings per game to play 6 to 9 innings if you make it 3 games. And if you as a coach believe that it's realistic you're going to win those games if you do a few different things differently, are you coaching just to win and chasing plastic rings if Johnny only plays 2 innings in game 1 so you can win and have game 2? I say no. I say there is a balance where you're focused on Johnny's development and putting him in positions to succeed while still maximizing the probability that you'll get enough games in so that Johnny gets additional opportunities. Johnny should never sit the entire game. He shouldn't be on the team if that's the case. But you can focus on development and incorporate winning as part of that program and still find balance and success. And that's the flexibility I'm looking for. That's the flexibility that I want coaches to embrace. Don't strive to be 1-31. Strive to win when you can and develop always. 16-16 is way better than 1-31. 31-1 might not actually be better than 16-16 if what you've done is cut off your nose to spite your face. In other words, sat Johnny all the games. So what I'm saying is development first can incorporate fun, development, and winning if you as a coach and you as a player focus on victories in both the grind and on the field. Victories in getting to play mini games, as well as getting to run sprints, as well as maximizing your reps on the field, as well as winning when possible and growing when you lose. So in youth sports, when you focus on creating a well-rounded athlete, you're helping prepare them for future challenges. When you prioritize skill growth, strategic understanding, and personal development over immediate fun and over team victories, you're maximizing the potential for every player. You're emphasizing steady progress over instant results. In other words, look at this in the macro sense and not the micro sense. Stop worrying about whether you win game A and start worrying about whether or not games E, F, and G are going to be days where you're better than you were in game A. Try to maximize your innings and your approach, but also understand that the value of playing game 3 on Sunday isn't higher than the value of getting everybody on the field during games 1 and 2. You've got to have balance. You can't just be focused on winning, and you can't just be focused on fun. So in higher level sports, when you adopt this development first approach, a crucial component is that comprehensive long-term strategy, because you have to be able to achieve sustained goals and sustained successes. So you have to have a systematic approach to cultivating talent, skills, and maximizing. In higher level sports, when you're adopting a development first approach, it is crucial to have a comprehensive long-term strategy that's aimed at achieving sustainable success. I'm talking about an approach that prioritizes a systematic cultivation of talent, of skills, and of overall athletic well-being. You need to ensure that athletes not only excel at the current level they're playing, but develop the resilience and the capabilities needed for future challenges. You have to invest in yourself by going through robust training programs. Coaches, you need to nurture young talents. And parents, you need to emphasize the mental and the physical development of your kids. Organizations can build a foundation that fosters continuous improvement and consistent high performance over time. But you have to recognize that the true success is not solely measured in immediate victories. It is most largely measured by the enduring legacy of the athlete's growth, their overall health in the sport, and their continued love of the game beyond their playing days. And those are the things that are going to make your program as a coach successful generationally. And I don't mean your kids' kids. I mean, if you're coaching 8th graders, you want it to be successful when those 5th graders get there. What I'm saying is, as a parent, if you're putting your child out there to play in 5th grade, you want them to still be playing in 8th grade and still be playing as seniors because they love the game, not because you're putting them out there and making them play. And you want them taking their kid to games when they reach adulthood. That is really, really where the winning is when it comes to winning versus fun. It's a development first mentality that's rooted in the belief that long-term success is more important than short-term. Teach the fundamentals. Include proper mechanics, game awareness, mental preparation. Structure your practices to provide ample repetition and constructive feedback. Don't just dog them out. Help players develop a strong relationship, a strong foundation, a strong self. And players, when you are developing and you're grinding, don't use that as an opportunity to tear down your teammate. Build them up, because building them up will also build you up. Because when every player is given the chance to learn and improve, regardless of their current skill level, the whole team gets better. In an environment where mistakes are seen as learning opportunities, not failures, the whole team gets better. Winning and fun are not ignored. They cannot be ignored. Do not pretend like you don't care about winning. And for the love of it, do not tell me you don't care if you have fun. They're critical, but they're natural byproducts of your development. The goal is to be prepared for future success at even higher levels of competition, whether that's in high school, whether that's in college, whether that's beyond, whether that future is as a coach, not as a player, whether that future is as a parent, not as a coach or a player, whether that future is just as a fan, or if you're lucky, as a professional athlete. But you want to be preparing long-term, not just for today. You got to find that balance, and you got to be planned. Now, that's not to say there aren't challenges with it. That's not to say there aren't difficulties with it. I make it sound rosy and wonderful and perfect, but there are times where it's going to wear you down. One of the big ones is parents. Parents want victories, especially if you're talking travel sports, especially if you're talking varsity sports. Parents want a return on their investment. And for many, many parents, that is going to be playtime for Johnny and wins. And they have to go hand in hand. Playtime for Johnny and losses isn't good enough. What are you, a terrible coach? My kid is awesome. How are you not winning with him? And if Johnny's not playing, well, you think you're so good, but you'd have even more wins if Johnny was out there. Parents are going to get mad no matter what you do. So the key is communicate, focus on the priorities of growth in the team, and be honest. Be honest with parents. Be honest with your players. Make sure they know where they stand. Make sure they know what you see for them, what you feel for them. And players, you have to communicate up the ladder. Do not be afraid of your coach. If you are afraid of your coach, take a step back and understand your coach is just another player who grew up into a coach. They're not magical beings. They're not overlords. Communicate with them. They may have been through the exact thing you're going through. They may be being hard on you because they see in you what they were as a player and they knew what it took to get them there. Doesn't mean their method is right, but it also doesn't mean it's wrong. So communicate upwards. Be able to approach your coach. And coaches, be approachable. And parents, encourage your athlete to approach the coach, but don't do it without supporting them. Be there for them, because we hate to say it, but they're out there. The jerks are out there. And you may have to step in on behalf of your child. That should never be the first option. Shouldn't even be the second option. Give your child a couple of chances to grow up and be a productive athlete and be somebody who can talk for themselves and advocate for themselves. But those challenges are real. In a development-based organization, they're even more real because there's so many more failures when you allow for failures. Well, coach, then why the heck would you do that? We don't want more failures. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You want more failures. You want more failures are how you grow. Failures are how you get better. If you don't push yourself past your current ability, if you don't reach the failure point, you never maximize the successes. Even with all of that, even with everything I've just said, there's going to be players out there who refuse to embrace development first. They will never have the enthusiasm for doing drills that they would have for scrimmaging. They'll never dedicate themselves and put the effort into it if they're not getting as many wins as they otherwise would have. And those players are going to require a coach who can build them up and keep them interested. And if you're one of those players and you know that, then you better pick a team with the right personality at the helm to keep you engaged, or you're going to get tired of it and you're going to quit. And even if you don't quit, you'll never be as good as you could have been. So coaches, so players, so parents, what does it come back down to? What is key? Well, I said it before. It's communication. It's having a plan for practices and games. But it's also about having versatility in the training you're doing. Make sure you're doing things that are going to provide for the strengths and weaknesses of all the players. And you don't have to do them all every practice. Just have a plan for it. And celebrate effort. When a player that's a scrub works their butt off, even if they don't find success, make it success by celebrating the effort they put in. And when they get a partial success, celebrate that success and push them towards the carrot that is full on victory. Because if you only ever celebrate when they do something that is so far beyond their job that is miraculous, if you only celebrate those moments, well, you're leaving your team hanging. Nobody likes to be the guy trying to give a high five left with their hand in the air. Ultimately, it's all about balance, guys. It's about having a flexible mindset. It's about understanding that the needs of the players, the needs of the team, the needs of the organization, they evolve, they change over time. As a player, you must be ready to adapt to those changes. And as a team, you must maintain a clear philosophy. Because when players enjoy the grind, they enjoy the development, success follows the grind. It follows the development. And success is fun. Find things that are fun in the grind. Find reward in the development, and you will win. Whew. Exhale. Guys, I could talk about this for 3 more hours, and I barely scratched the surface of it. And I'm sure there are people who listen to these episodes and are pissed off because they think I'm targeting them or picking on them, or I don't understand how important it is to win, or I don't understand how important it is to have fun. I'm overvaluing plastic rings, or I don't know that their job depends on blah, 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 blah. It's not that serious, folks. It's sports. It's athletics. It's love. You have to be in it for the whole thing. To be in it for the grind. To be in it for the development. You have to be in it for the fun, for the losses and the wins. Love what you do. I'm Coach Eric. This has been Unlocked Mental Performance, Physical Results. If you're stuck in a difficult situation, find a mental performance coach that'll help give you the tools you need to become the player, become the coach, become the athlete you can be. In the meantime, keep grinding, keep grinding.
He steps up to the plate, feeling the weight. The crowd's cheering loud, but it's up to fate. Struck out too many times, doubts creeping in, but he knows in his heart it's time to begin. He remembers the lessons, the words that they say. Keep your head up high, don't let fear lead the way. Act, take a swing, let the baton talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. Sun shining bright, he's feeling the heat. With every deep breath, he's back on his feet. Visualizing success, he's got a new plan. With the tools from Play Big, he's a brand new man. He knows it's a journey, not just a quick fix. With patience and practice, he'll find his own mix. Act, take a swing, let the back of the talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. Every setback's a lesson, every strike's a chance to rise up stronger, to take a new stance. With the crowd on his side, he's ready to show. With the ABCs in his heart, he's ready to go. Take a swing, let the back of the talk. Chest high, walk the walk. Breathe in deep, let the pressure unlock. You are focused, ready to rock. Commit to the moment, let the past fade away. Get back in the game, you're ready to play. So here's to the slumps, the struggles we face. With courage and commitment, we'll find our own place. Every new inning is a chance to rise. Chase the champion spirit to the skies. Every new inning is a chance to rise.